This is a presentation of Welcome Molalla, where we bring you fun and informative videos from within our community. Molalla welcomes Cindy Cox of the Waterfall Center at the Foothills Community Church, who will present to us today spiritual health.
So, hello, I'm Cindy Cox. I am a licensed professional counselor intern at Waterfall Counseling at Foothills Community Church, and today we're going to talk about spiritual health. And there are many ways of thinking about spirituality, and sometimes we interchange spirituality with religion, and they are similar but not identical. Spirituality is that sense of there's something greater than ourselves. There's this connectedness to the greater whole. Religion is more about something that's organized, specific rules and guidelines that we follow in our spiritual journey. So some people can say, I'm spiritual but not religious, I'm spiritual and religious, I'm not spiritual but I am religious. And one of the studies that was done said, of the people that were surveyed in America, 69% claimed to be spiritual and or religious, while 31% claim to be neither one. So why is spirituality important? There have been a lot of scientific studies that are trying to understand how does spirituality impact our lives, and they found several different ways that it does so. They found that it impacts us, our physiology, it impacts our relational ability, it impacts our ability to make sense of what's going on around us. It can provide hope when we're going through difficult things. It can, so neurobiology, which is the study of neuroscience and biology, they do functional MRIs on the brain. So when something is going on, they are taking pictures of the brain to see what's going on in the brain. And what they found is that mindfulness has positive impacts on our brain function. Not only can it increase the feel-good hormones, it can decrease our stress hormones like cortisol and noradrenaline. Both of those in too high of quantity in our body can create inflammation and disease and illness. So the National Alliance on Mental Illness says, for some, the most important aspect of religion is that it offers a way to understand our experiences. The major world religions each offer explanations of why suffering exists in the world. Turning to these explanations brings comfort to many people confronting illness. The why me question can never be answered entirely by medical science, and some people find the answers that they seek in religion. The familydoctor.org says some research shows a connection between your beliefs and your sense of well-being. Positive beliefs, comfort, and strength gained from religion, meditation, and prayer can contribute to well-being. It may even promote healing. And while improving your spiritual health may not cure an illness, it may help you feel better. It may also help prevent some health problems and help you cope better with illness, stress, or death. So meditating, praying, even taking a walk in nature, these things can help boost our immune system function. This is by Kelly Turner, PhD. They're a New York City-based cancer researcher, and they wrote Radical Remission, Surviving Cancer Against All Odds. And she says it's not what people believe in, but whether they had a daily practice that made the difference. She says when you are in deep prayer meditation, your fight or flight response goes off and your whole body, I have to go back. Your fight or flight goes off and your rest and repair turns on. So this allows your immune system to supercharge your whole body, and it's incredibly healing, whether you're under stress or have an actual illness, or trying to prevent illness or stress. And Gail Gross PhD says, when you give up to God or a higher power, you gain a sense of control. And that has a positive effect on health and wellness, including cognitive abilities, so your thinking abilities. You can relax and are not distracted by negative thoughts, she explains. Your blood pressure levels go down and blood flow to the brain increases, so your memory gets better and your thinking becomes clearer. A lot of people might realize that isolation is a major risk for depression, but spirituality and organized religion encourage this social engagement. Volunteering or being involved in a group or spiritual community provides that social support that can reduce risk for the depression. And it doesn't matter whether it's a yoga class or a church group or some online group. And another thing is that spirituality may provide a sense of hope to counter the hopelessness that is almost always linked to depression. There is a common human tendency to be stuck in the moment, but reminiscing about a time in life that was happier or in which they were stronger can take people out of the moment, says Reverend Kevin Macy. Even though they're still in the storm, the anchor is connected to something else and something positive, he says. And another thing that science has found is that individuals who identify as being religious or spiritual, they report lower rates of psychiatric conditions such as depression and anxiety. Not only that, people who identify as religious or spiritual report improved health outcomes with even chronic conditions like cardiovascular disease or type 2 diabetes. So science can't really explain the benefits. There have been a lot of research done that can describe the benefits, but they can't explain why those benefits occur. There is an article called The Science of Spirituality, 16 Tips to Build Your Spiritual Practice by Kelly Miller. While the experience of emotions varies from person to person, the experience of transcendent emotions can be seen as universal, and that is connected to spirituality. And Corey Eckerman says, self-transcendence is about rising above the self and relating to that which is greater than the self, or more simply, the realization that you are one small part of a greater whole, and then act accordingly. Abraham Maslow, an early American psychologist, recognized self-transcendence in his hierarchy of needs. So he starts out with the physiological needs and works up through the additional needs, love and acceptance, empathy, self-actualization to self-transcendence. And he says, transcendence refers to the very highest and most inclusive or holistic levels of human consciousness, behaving and relating as ends rather than means to oneself, to significant others, to human beings in general, to other species, to nature, and to the cosmos. So this idea of the greater good. And then these transcendent emotions, these transcendent behaviors are linked to what we call pro-social behaviors. And these behaviors are things that are concerned for the rights, feelings, welfare of other people. And they can include feeling empathy and concern for other people, behaving in ways to help or benefit other people. It includes behaviors such as helping, sharing, donating, cooperating, and volunteering. So all these things that tend to occur with spiritual practices are things that are pro-social. They build relationship, and since neuroscience says we're created for relationship and that's where we are our healthiest, this is a way of building those relationships and that nurturing for ourselves. There is something in human nature that seeks more than the accumulation of wealth and power. It's why we're never satisfied when we reach that goal, we feel like there's still something missing. We find that something in an understanding that we're part of something bigger than ourselves and that we have a place, a purpose in that. Now that you know the benefits, what do? You explore, you be creative. We want to start small and make new habits easy. We commit to the changes that we're making. We practice, 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 and we choose love and respect. So what does that look like? If you haven't decided what you believe, explore the experiences of others that you trust. Listen to their stories, listen to their testimonies. Does it resonate with you? Find someone or something that you find relatable. Ask questions, get curious. If you already have a foundational belief, then you can learn more about that. You can ask questions of the leader of your faith, somebody else who shares that faith with you. You can find information at the library. You can go online. There's many avenues. So find the practices that are important to you. And there are many, many possibilities out there. Many of the practices that the different faiths do promote deep relaxation. Look for new ways to practice your spirituality. These can give you important tools during sorrow, crises, times like now when we're having to isolate social distance. Some of the ways that you can practice your faith outside of congregation is perhaps reading scripture, visiting sacred sites, learning about important people in your religion, listening to sacred music, singing, engaging in private prayer, attending online prayer discussion groups. If you don't feel comfortable with organized religion, you can still access the benefits of relaxation and find meaning in your experience. So think of places, people, experiences that give you feelings of peace, awe, greater meaning, joy, and seek those out and make those more a part of your everyday life. Some people might find their greater meaning outside in nature or in an art gallery or listening to a piece of music that is really special to them. Others might find comfort in poetry or learning about science or history. So whatever your interests are, by pursuing them, you can give your mind a valuable time out from thinking about whatever it is that's causing the stress and anxiety. Set time aside every day to do things that help you spiritually. Might be community service, might be volunteer work, might be praying, meditation, singing devotional songs, reading inspirational books, nature walks. There are so many things that you can do to help promote your spiritual well-being. Again, remember that habits take a long time to develop. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Some people can develop a habit in as little as 66 days. Some of us take up to 8.5 months to develop that same habit. So just keep plugging away at it. Don't give up. Love yourself enough to find moments of transcendent emotions, compassion, awe, gratitude, appreciation, inspiration, admiration, elevation, love every day. Through increasing hope, kindness, self-compassion, gratitude, and awe, anyone can start being more spiritual right away. And all it takes is one decision. So finding those moments of transcendence, those times when you can rise above yourself to replace moments of frustration, they're not going to happen magically by waving a wand. You have to work at it. You have to practice mindful attention to what's going on, to being aware of the emotions and the practices that create these experiences of spirituality. A lot of times, these emotions come when you're serving others. When we seek happiness, it eludes us. But when we serve others, we find happiness. And with every interaction, lead with a loving and kind way of being. If you always assume innocence, it's going to lead to communication rather than altercation, and it's going to build relationships and relational connection. The spirituality is not merely a form of stress release. It becomes not the central power building, it's the central focus of your activities. Here you bring your spiritual practice into everything you do because it's relevant to everything you do, and it will assist you and bring clarity in everything you do. So there are a few little quotes. Spiritual practice is the ability to love even when you've been hurt, and it's the ability to get over it and rise to love again. Spiritual practices impact body, mind, and heart, and whatever is good for your soul, do that. Find that special thing that elevates your spiritual well-being.
Thank you for spending time with Welcome Molalla. We hope you enjoyed this episode and that you will come back for more and share with your friends.